Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is August Gassinger, and my pronouns are he, him.
And my name is Hazel Semmelhack, and my pronouns are she, her. We are happy to be leading worship this morning with fellow members of our senior high youth group, Young Religious Unitarian Universalists, also known as YRUU. Whoever you are and wherever you have come from, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville welcomes you. We are delighted you have joined us this morning and are grateful for all who have made this moment of our gathering possible. Let us take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute, and those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
We offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us after the service in the social hall. You are also invited to use one of our red coffee mugs and sit at our newcomers table, where you can identify by its red tablecloth. There is a live stream of the service in the social hall. All are welcome in the sanctuary, but for those needing a roomier space, the social hall can be a good option. Those on Zoom are invited to stay online for conversation following the service. Many thanks to all the people who make Sunday morning services possible. Our greeters, ushers, hospitality, and altar decorating teams. Our wonderful religious education leaders and volunteers, and AV team led by Nash Ford. And now, we have greetings from board member Jimmy Gorham.
Thanks for hand. Whatever. And I actually like being treasurer. And because I get to see how, the underpinning of money makes us be able to do all the things that this church is capable of doing. And I read into things like the money flowing in and the pledges flowing in, all the enthusiasm that people have. And it's quite a lot of enthusiasm. So thank you all for letting me do my job. And if anybody has questions for me, they can contact me through my personal email or through the treasurer at UU Charlottesville. And the second thing I wanted to say is to make sure that we all appreciate what the YRUU have done today. They've been here, I understand, for a couple of hours getting ready for this, and it's so fantastic that they're here. Let's try to give them a round of applause for what they're about to do. So. Thank you.
Here are this morning's announcements. The 2026-27 UU Seville Pledge Drive is underway. As of this morning, we have received over $328,070. The Pledge Drive team will be tabling in the social hall and have pledge forms for those who have pledged before and for those making their very first pledge. Please make your pledge today. It makes a difference. Have you taken the UU Seville survey? This important congregational survey will help identify the many gifts, skills, and interests we all have. The survey is available now through March 31st. You can find the link in the church newsletter and on the website. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to complete, and we really want to hear from you. Today, after church, the UU Seville Young Adult Group will gather in Lower Hall 3 for fun, food, and conversation. If the weather is nice, we will meet outside. Join us at 12:30. Also this morning at 12:30, all are invited to attend the workshop, Using Privilege for Good, led by our own Greg Townsend in Lower Hall 2. Greg is the former Associate Dean for Diversity at the UVA Medical School. Don't miss this very important program. If you are new to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville, we invite you to join Rev. Tim and several lay leaders at 12:15 in the church parlor for our monthly newcomer circle. Join us for 30 minutes of relaxed conversation following the service. Join with your spirit and your voices to sing out for justice, Saturday, March 21st, from 3 to 4:30 p.m. here in the sanctuary as part of the UU Seville Justice Choir Community Sings. Carpooling is encouraged. All are welcome. Please join us for coffee and conversation following the service in the social hall.
My name is Connor Duran, and my pronouns are he, him. Our call to worship this morning is from Elena Westbrook and is titled, To Remind Ourselves What is Real. In a world ravaged by violence, by hatred, by conflicts that seem eternal and insoluble, sometimes the only thing we can do is to be still for a moment. To remind ourselves that what is real, the sun that rose this morning, the dirt under our feet, the air whispering in and out of our lungs. This hour tried just to be in each moment as it unfolds. Your simple attention is what makes these moments holy.
I now invite Ryan Wiles to light our flaming chalice. Will you please join in saying our chalice lighting words? We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. And then with the hand motions. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open minds. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving hearts.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Hello, hello. Hi, I'm Coretta Powers, and I would like to invite anyone feeling young at heart, anyone who's young, any adults, any parents, any visiting college students to come join me on the rug as I share a story. I'm Coretta Powers.
And I'm Naomi McClary, and my pronouns are she, her.
Today we have an old Japanese folktale by Curtis Manley that I've been told this story when I was a kid, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys today. Hello, everybody. Anyone else straggling in? Find a seat. Hello. I'm recognizing a lot of faces. And okay. Crowding in, scooch in, make room. Hello. Our story today is called The Crane Wife, written by Curtis Manley. Snow fell over the quiet village, covering the roofs and fields in a blanket of white. In a small, crooked house at the edge of the forest lived an old man named Kokoro. He had little in the world, just a warm stove and a patched coat, and a kind heart. One bitter evening, as Kokoro trudged home from gathering firewood, he heard a desperate fluttering near the roadside. Pushing through the snow, he found a crane with an arrow from a hunter deep in its chest. "Oh, you poor creature," Kokoro murmured. With numb fingers, he pulled the arrow from the chest of the bird. The crane stood for a moment, as if considering him, then spread its wide white wings and lifted into the gray sky, disappearing behind the trees. Kokoro smiled to himself and continued home. He thought no more of the crane or the arrow. That night, just as the wind began to howl outside and the cold nipped at poor Kokoro's toes, someone knocked at his door. When he opened it, a young woman stood there. Snow dusted her hair, and her clothes were thin, and her body was frail. "Please," she spoke softly, "I have nowhere to go. May I stay here tonight?" Kokoro's home was small, and he was very poor, but he would never turn away someone in need. "Of course," he said. "Come in and warm yourself." The woman stayed, but not just for one night, but many. She was gentle and cheerful, and soon the house that was small and cold grew full of life. And in time, the two grew fond of each other and decided to marry. One day, as winter deepened, the cold became unbearable. Kokoro could not find food. The woman said to her husband, "Please, let me help you. Build me a loom, and I can make cloth to sell in the village." Kokoro hesitated. He did not want to pressure his wife. But the hunger and the cold overtook his pride. As he accepted, she added one strange condition. "You must promise to never look inside the weaving room while I work." Kokoro laughed kindly. "If that's all you ask, I promise." So Kokoro's wife shut herself inside the small back room and began her work. For 3 days and 3 nights, he heard the steady rhythm of weaving. When she finally emerged, she looked pale and frail like the night he had first found her. But in her hands she carried the most beautiful cloth Kokoro had ever seen. It shimmered like moonlight in the snow. "You are truly gifted," he told his wife. She only smiled faintly. Kokoro took the cloth and next day and sold it in the village. People gasped and gawked at the most beautiful cloth they had ever seen. And Kokoro soon held in his hand more money than he had ever known. But then the hunger and cold came back again, and Kokoro's wife asked him to let her weave again, with the same rule. He must not look inside while she worked. Once again he hesitated, worried for his wife's health, but the promise of gold overtook him. This time the weaving lasted 6 days and 6 nights. Again she emerged weak, even weaker than before. But the cloth was even more beautiful, and wealthy merchants came in from every corner of the planet to buy Kokoro's beautiful cloth. Kokoro and his wife had never known so much comfort. The rest of their days seemed to promise warmth. Until one day, a mysterious stranger came into Kokoro's living room. The stranger was a samurai who offered Kokoro more gold than he could ever imagine or ever need, asking only in return the beautiful silk he had heard so many great stories about. Kokoro hesitated again. His wife was so tired. Yet the thought of the coins piling up on the table made a voice in his head call to him. Why not you, Kokoro? Kokoro the rich man, Kokoro the landlord. Why should the money not be yours? Just one more, he pushed. His eyes no longer worried for the safety of his wife, but they begged for the promise of gold and wealth. His wife lowered her eyes but agreed. This time the weaving went on longer than ever. From behind the closed doors, rustling and cries, the slow scrape of the loom. Kokoro tried and tried to keep his promise, but worry not at him. Why did the work make her so weak? What was she doing in there? Was the samurai's promise worth the life of his wife? Yet the voice remained whispering, Kokoro the rich man, Kokoro the landlord. Finally, on the 7th day, he could take it no longer. His curiosity overcame him. Quietly, he slid the door open and peeked inside. Kokoro gasped. Where his wife should have been stood a great white crane before the loom. Feather by feather, it pulled out its own wings, weaving the silk that then wove the cloth. The cloth was beautiful and shiny, but the bird was weak and bloody. The crane turned and saw him. In that moment, the illusion faded. The bird's eyes held a sadness deeper than the winter, and in the light, they seemed to look like the eyes of his wife. I am the crane you saved, she said, in a soft voice that seemed to echo in the small room. I wished to repay your kindness, but you promised not to look. I am sorry. Tears filled Kokoro's eyes. I was worried. I never meant to harm you. The crane bowed its head. Kokoro's greed had tarnished its great wings. Because you have seen me, I can no longer stay. She spread her wings, ragged now with so many feathers gone, stepped inside, out the open door. The rush of cold sent a shiver down his spine. Thank you for your kindness, she said. I will never forget it. With a final beat of her wing, the crane rose up into the snow and vanished beyond the forest, leaving only a few white feathers behind. Kokoro stood alone in the quiet house. The beautiful cloth lay still folded at the loom, shimmering faintly. No wealth could now fill the space his wife had left behind. The voice was gone now. It did not call out for more money or gold. And now, every winter, when the cranes fly overhead, Kokoro would step outside and watch the sky, hoping that somewhere among them was the one he had loved and then lost. Thank you guys for listening so well to us. We chose this story. Thank you. We chose this story because it reminded us we should pay attention to what our people tell us. And remember that greed should not let us overtake our true feelings for each other. Thank you so much. You may return to your seat.
Let us now sing our children to their religious education classes with hymn number 414 as we leave this friendly place.
My name is River Livengood, and my pronouns are they, them. Please join me in a time of meditation with words from Doug Kraft. If we have too much in our lives, our attention skips from one object to another without really enjoying anything. If we have too many activities, our attention jumps from past to future without settling into the present. If we have too many opinions, we end up thinking about how things should be without fully seeing how things are. Happiness and ease flow from the bottom of the lake. They aren't found hopping over the surface of life. We have to slow down enough to settle into the depths. Joy and ease are simple and uncomplicated. Having lots of things to do, stuff to manage, places to go, and opinions to consult make life complicated. Practices that cultivate simplicity do two things. They reduce the amount of stuff, activities, or preferences so we have a better chance of settling into the present. They get the outward to resonate a little better with the happiness, joy, and ease in our depths. And they help us become more aware of our relationship to stuff, experience, and thought. We are an interconnected community that cares for one another. Part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts. In honor of all our joys and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken, you are invited to come forward and place a glass stone in a communal bowl of water. Everyone is welcome to participate. Those online are invited to share their joys and sorrows in the chat. Rosalie Samari from the pastoral care team will come forward to help hold the space. Rosalie will be available for a few minutes after the service in the back corner of the sanctuary if you are in need of support or just want someone to listen. Those online can contact the pastoral care team at pastoral@uucharlottesville.org. As we are doing our ritual, Rowan will be providing music. Let us begin.
My name is Naomi McCleary, and my pronouns are she, her. When I was younger, I never noticed how important paying attention was. For the most part, I got everything pretty well, but then I would catch myself staring off into space in the middle of class. I first noticed this in 3rd grade, the year we all learned multiplication and division. As soon as we started learning about it, I knew I wasn't interested. I always had something better to think about. But then, when we'd have tests on math, I would get really stuck. The only other feeling I hated more than not knowing what we were learning was looking around and seeing everyone else getting it. I knew if they could do it, I could do it too, by paying attention. Even if I didn't fully understand it, I had to start somewhere. And I was nervous about asking questions, but once I finally did, I wasn't nervous about those tests anymore. Once I made that change, I felt so much better about myself and more confident in classes. My other reason why I think paying attention is important in classes is because you notice so many things. I'm in AP Government this year, and I'm a senior at CHS. My teacher is Mr. Gore. The name sounds scary, but he's super nice, promise. A lot of the work done in that class is online assignments, so we're on our computers a lot as a class. And whenever Mr. Gore comes up to the front to make announcements or try to have a full class discussion, he can barely get through 2 sentences without being interrupted by students talking. I noticed this was affecting my teacher because he'd always just stop talking and wait for them to notice, and sometimes it would be a while. Noticing a teacher being affected by people not paying attention was pretty upsetting, considering that history is my favorite subject, and there was a lot of work put into that class discussion. This made me realize how not paying attention in class affects everyone around you, and you notice a lot more when you do pay attention. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rowan Duran. My pronouns are he, him, and I have 2 stories about paying attention to share with everyone this morning. My first story is of a virtue my grandfather on my mom's side taught me. I was a spirited young boy. My mom tells me how I would describe my emotions impressively using colors and similes. She tells me of a time I told her I feel like I have a city of happy people inside of me. But my city is crumbling right now. I remember hating sitting still, always wanting to be doing something more fun. When we had food for dinner I liked, I would inhale it. When it was something I disliked, I would take a bite, stand up, and walk around the kitchen until my parents told me to come eat more. My grandpa, G-Pop, gave me advice on my speed eating habit. We were eating at a restaurant one night, and as per usual, I was wolfing down my food. G-Pop said to me, "You eat your food as fast as Maddie does." Maddie is our dog. She eats so fast, it's like she doesn't even chew. "You can't really taste your food eating so quickly," he told me. "Next time you take a bite, chew it 20 times. You'll taste so much more and you'll enjoy it more too." Now 20 times is a lot, and I found it impossible to chew each bite so much before swallowing it. But for the rest of that meal, I did eat more mindfully, and I did enjoy it more. I noticed more flavor than before, and I didn't get a stomachache from eating so quickly. G-Pop told me that paying attention to your food and eating slowly is something taught in Buddhism, and I will still sometimes slow down when I'm eating and appreciate my food. The second story I have is about my paternal grandfather. Grandpa Gene passed away about 1.5 years ago. When he passed, I learned a lot of stuff about him I didn't know. I heard stories about him I had never heard before. I spoke at his funeral service about how I wished I had known him better. He spent 2 summers in Ethiopia working on the dig for the paleoanthropological breakthrough Lucy. I did know this about him, but there was so much more about the story that I had never talked to him about. Now I find myself interested in anthropology, and this would have been an amazing conversation to have with him. In the quiescent times after the funeral, I wrote a song. The song is about what I learned and what I still don't know about him. With all this, I realized that if I had paid attention to our relationship and his deteriorating health, I could have made more of an effort to deepen our bond. I'll play a shortened version of the song now. It's called For Gene, and I'm going to use this mic too. I didn't know you bones of your child, warmth of the fire, tear in my eye. Would you take with you the fire's burning out, and would you find within you? I'm only learning now, after years, a broken jaw returned, a final word spoken, a final hug, goodbye, goodbye. For Gene, for Gene, for Gene, for Gene, for Gene, would you take with you the fire's burning out, and would you find within you? I'm only learning now, after years, broken jaw returned, final words spoken, final hug, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you. Thank you so much. If I had paid attention, I would have learned so much more about Grandpa Gene. I would have known that he made copies of Lucy's Bones. I would have known that my dad broke his copies of Lucy's Bones while playing with them as a child. I could have talked to him about my dad and my uncle and my aunt. If I had paid attention, I wouldn't regret that I can't even remember eating Ethiopian food with him. His passing was a reminder to me to pay attention. Thank you.
This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of March is for the UU Congregation of Charlottesville Hospital Meal Packet Program, which provides non-perishable food for families of patients at the UVA Medical Center. Often from out of town who might struggle to feed themselves. Each meal packet has enough food to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for one person. Each meal packet also contains a note of love and support from our congregation. Nash, please show us the social action slide for giving anyone who would like to financially support the meal packet program. In addition to giving online, if you would like to give today with cash or check, please use the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in the collection plate. And please make your checks out to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville and write meal packets in the memo line. Along with our social action collection, we invite everyone to support the ministry and missions of this community. Through your pledges and the weekly Sunday morning offering together, our financial gifts support UU Seaville and enable us to put love into action. This is our shared ministry. Let us now dedicate all of the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good." The offerings will now be collected.
Hi, my name is Coretta Powers, and my pronouns are she, her. I find myself getting distracted pretty much all the time. My mind wanders throughout everything I do. Even while writing this statement, my mind wandered to my best friends and the trip I had recently taken to Chattanooga. Because of these unnecessary distractions, I've missed out on life. Stories, details, the thoughts of people I care about. It's been a journey for me through change, but I've learned to be present, to pay attention to things around me. I've learned to pay extra attention, and when our time is constantly being stolen by social media and content only designed to distract us from what truly matters, it's easier than ever to just simply be distracted. Our attention is constantly being pulled in a million different directions. It's being demanded from every part of our lives. And right now, more than ever, it's important to pay attention to taking care of people, our church, our families, our friends, but also the greater humanity. We are constantly being told things with only the intention to make us hate each other. But when we focus on the truth in the real lives of real people, we can find love and connection between us all. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Hayden Hartung, and my pronouns are he, him. There's a quiet practice at the heart of many spiritual traditions. It isn't dramatic, it doesn't require any special training, and it doesn't ask us to go anywhere far away. In fact, it asks us to do the opposite. It asks us to be right here. This practice is simply paying attention. In our lives, attention has become a rare and precious thing. We live in a world that constantly pulls at our focus. Notifications, headlines, schedules, worries about tomorrow, and regrets about yesterday. Our minds are often somewhere else while our lives are happening right in front of us. Change, for example, can be hard to notice. When it happens slowly, it can easily be overlooked. Like the growth of a tree. Checking in day after day, you won't notice a thing. But give it years, and you can come back to find incredible growth. Rushing a process and looking for instant results leads you to find next to nothing. But when you take a moment to reflect on the time put in and the success coming out, you can see real growth. For those who don't know me, I play soccer. I've played for the last 13 years and have loved every second. I've put in thousands of hours, leading me to play with some incredible teams and against even better players. Looking back now at my first years playing as a child and seeing how much I've grown, I'm so thankful I stuck with it. But at times, it nearly beat me. It would feel so helpless, like I wasn't improving and I'd hit an impassable wall with my skill. I couldn't notice any improvements in my daily practicing and was so focused on the short term, I had missed how far I had come. If I'd only taken a step back, looking at the bigger picture, I would see how something as simple as my passing had been refined beyond what I had thought possible. I'd be so proud and admire myself. So I ask you to think about the last time you really noticed something simple. Maybe it was the way the sunlight moved across the floor in the morning. Maybe it was the sound of the wind in the trees. Maybe it was a way a friend's face changed when they were telling you something important. Those moments are small, but they are also sacred. They remind us that life is happening now, not just in the big milestones, but in the quiet details we often overlook. Paying attention is an act of respect for the world we live in and for the people around us. When we notice beauty, we are saying, this world is worth caring about. When we truly listen to someone, we are saying, you matter. When we pay attention to our own thoughts and feelings, we are saying, my life is worth understanding. And let's not forget, attention is also how compassion grows. It's hard to care about suffering we never notice. But when we begin to pay attention to the struggles of neighbors, to injustice in our communities, to the quiet loneliness someone might be carrying, our hearts naturally respond. Attention opens the door to empathy, and empathy moves us towards action. In this way, paying attention is not passive, but the first step towards a more loving and fulfilling life. Our culture often praises speed, productivity, and constant activity. We are encouraged to multitask, to move quickly from one thing to the next. Yet spiritual wisdom often moves in the opposite direction. It invites us to pause, to breathe, to notice. To notice the sound of a bird outside the window, to feel your feet touching the floor, the presence of the people sitting beside you in this very room. These moments might seem small, but they reconnect us with the reality that we are alive, together in a shared world. And perhaps that is the deeper promise of attention. It brings us back into a relationship with the earth, with one another, and with a deeper meaning of our lives. So today, I invite you to practice a simple kind of attention. Notice something beautiful that you might normally overlook. Listen to someone without planning your response while they speak. Pause for a moment before rushing to the next task. These small acts are not insignificant. They are the beginnings of a more mindful, compassionate way of living. Because when we pay attention, we rediscover something essential. Life is not something happening somewhere else. It is unfolding here, in this moment, in this breath, in this community. And when we learn to notice, we may find that the sacred has been here all along. Thank you.
Please rise in body and or spirit for our closing hymn, number 118, This Little Light of Mine. Thank you. You may be seated. Hello again. As I offer our closing words, I invite Ryan to please extinguish the chalice. Life is short. Time is our most valuable resources. Keep your focus on what matters to you. I won't tell you what that might mean. That's your journey, one I hope is free of distractions. Now I'd like to share a poem by one of my favorite poets, George Starbuck. The poem is titled For an American Burial. Slowly, out of the dusk bedeviled air, and off the passing blades of the gang plow, and suddenly, in state, as here and now, the earth gathers the earth. The earth is fair. All that the earth demands is the earth's share. All we pervade and revel in and vow, never to lose, always to hold somehow. We hold of earth in temporary care. Baby, the sun comes up and the sun comes down. The roads turn into the rivers right under your wheels. Houses go spinning by. The lights of town scatter in close. A galaxy unreels. This endlessness, this readiness to drown. This is the death he stood off, how it feels. Go with peace and with love, remembering to pay attention. Thank you. Our postlude is offered by Riley Griffith, and it is Sonatina number 3.
Friends, this concludes our service, but let's give it up for our youth. And they will be happy to greet you in the foyer if you'd like to speak with them. They'll be waiting right outside to receive all your love.